Well, the one thing I remember, if I got my stats right from the old clean coal days, is that we're the biggest coal burner in the country, aren't we, here in Texas, Mike? It's a big part of what's been the Texas success story. But it's not just Texas, it's also the Midwest. I'm from originally born and raised in Ohio, and I've often told people in Ohio, industry didn't locate in Ohio because it was great weather. It's access to raw materials, it's access to markets, et cetera. And certainly the coal industry has played a huge part of it. And with all due respect to everything else, I have to admit I'm a bit of a homer as in terms of fossil energy. But in terms of the future, coal is a part of our future, by definition. It will be. Part of our responsibility in fossil is to not have to have people ask the question, do I want it economically viable or do I want it environmentally sustainable? I don't answer that question. I push back and say it's a bad question. I'm not going to answer it because technology is going to enable us not to have to answer that question. If we can take the transformative technologies that we have earmarked for clean coal, to take the CO2 out of the atmosphere and continue to push NOx, SOx, mercury removal, particulate removal, address a lot of the environmental concerns that are there, I don't think as a country we've got a choice of ignoring coal, or for some people to say we're going to kill coal. I don't believe that's a responsible long-term game plan. I do believe it's a responsible long-term game plan to invest in the technologies that will enable us, as we sit on the Saudi Arabia of coal in this country, to continue to use that resource because it's about global competitiveness. Us vis-a-vis the rest of the world, and if we're sitting on top of that natural resource and we're bound and determined not to use it, that doesn't seem smart to me. So that's the reason why we're going to continue to push it. And whether it's new coal builds or whether it's existing coal-fired power plants and continue to keep those facilities healthy, operational. And I think as we talked about many times, many of these coal plants in Texas are 15, 20 years old. Hey, they're just hitting their stride. They're going to be around for another 50 years. And if we're able to put the kind of technology on the back end of those facilities, take the CO2 out of the atmosphere, and oh, by the way, find a nearby oil field to put that CO2 into, get more domestic oil because of it, sequester the CO2, I think that's a home run. And that's the kind of technology push we're going to want to orient toward the coal program. It's easier to do in places like Texas where you've got oil fields and developments, et cetera. You look at places like Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Illinois, there's a ton of coal up there. A lot of people have jobs associated with the coal industry. Coal-fired power plant power rates are probably better there than anywhere else in the country. You're going to stop all the coal plants in that area? No. But to be able to take the technology and transform it and actually marry it up with the oil industry, et cetera, that's another big part of our coal program as well. And there are places in the country where this really matters a lot. The Gulf Coast, the Ohio River Valley, the southeast part of our country was a big coal base. There's other places across the country as well where there's pockets of coal generation, and we're going to continue to look at all that technology and keep it viable for sure. And we're going to transfer it to gas. We're going to have gas conversions from coal that are going to go to gas. That's true. And what we're doing is lining up our technology development so that CO2 removal from a coal-fired power plant is applicable to CO2 removal from a gas-fired power plant. Because CO2 out of the atmosphere doesn't go away because you change to gas. It's still going to be there. So if we're going to make a material impact on CO2 in the atmosphere that we're venting, we have to have this technology applicable to all fossil fuels.